Internet, and welcome once again to the Free-to-Play cast brought to you by MMOBomb.com, your home for all things free-to-play related. I'm your host, Mike Byrne, aka magicman, and this is episode 343. We're recording on June 12th. You're watching it on June 12th. And we've got a lot to cover. We're going to talk about our favorite new console, right? The PS5, the reveal of the actual hardware yesterday. Destiny laid out a roadmap in a way I haven't seen companies lay out a roadmap almost ever. And then a few more things along the way, but joining me to cover all of it, Mr. Jason Winter. How are you, sir?
What's up, nerds?
Oh, God.
This is...
No. You were allowed to do this in October.
This is Halloween candy. This is what is left of our Halloween candy. These like 6 boxes of nerds, and the 2 I've already eaten.
We allowed you to do this in October with all the different candy name puns, but that was it.
I'm not gonna go through all those again.
Also,
but they were good, weren't they? They were so good.
The candy, yes. The puns, no. Also on the line, Ms. Quinlan Bowers. What's up, Q?
I've been awake about an hour and I've had 1 cup of coffee, so this should be fun.
All right, so you're juiced up with the caffeine and ready to go.
No, one cup of coffee.
Are you
check right into the veins.
Are you like an all-day coffee drinker? Like from
No, I'm
wake up to...
I'm really not. I'm a coffee wuss. I usually switch to Dr. Pepper after the first.
Jason, are you a coffee guy? I don't know that about you.
I'm absolutely a coffee drinker. I get headaches if I don't get my daily caffeine. That's how bad off I am.
Yeah, no, I can empathize there with like the caffeine headache. I do when I'm streaming. Mine is iced tea. So when I'm streaming, that's my like window of iced tea. Everything outside of that is water.
I can't stand tea in any form. I just don't like it.
I'm not a coffee guy.
Ew.
It's not that I don't like coffee. I just, or like, that's gross. There's nothing like that. Yeah, occasionally I'll have a cappuccino. But...
Yeah, for me to drink coffee, lots of cream, lots of sugar. I'm one of those people who defiles coffee.
Yeah, I defile a little bit too. Not maybe lots, but a good.
I mean, my wife will drink a pot in a day if she's not paying attention. And then
if I have coffee past like 5 p.m., I'm up until like 3 a.m.
Sidebar: the other day, she's like, "Oh, I got to take my pill before I go to bed." I'm like, "What are you taking a pill for?" She's like, "Oh, I've been getting bad, heartburn and stuff like that every day, so I've been taking it before I go to bed." And I'm like, well, wait, so you're taking it before you have it every day? She's like, yeah. And I said, doesn't that like, she's a nurse. She's a registered nurse and a very damn good one. And I'm like, doesn't that kind of flag that maybe there's something wrong? That, okay, you're going to go to a family reunion and eat a lot of, sausages, meatballs and stuff like that. So you pop a Tagament or something before you go. Fine. But you're taking this every day before you go to bed. What are you eating? Nothing abnormal. In fact, she's eating, healthier than she had years ago. What are you drinking? Nothing, just, coffee. Yeah, I know how much coffee you drink. Here, do me a favor. Nurse. Nurse, do me a favor. Slow down on the coffee tomorrow and don't take your pill before you go to bed. Let me know if you have heartburn. Drink half the coffee you normally. Just spread out, so that you don't get a caffeine headache because you're taking huge amounts of caffeine and now you're going to cut it in half for a day. Oh, hey, thanks for that. I didn't get heartburn last night. Nurse!
Is she one of the nurses who's getting lots of extra work because of all the COVID stuff?
Yeah.
I did read something from medical professionals that are like, all right, we're not getting fed, we're not getting sleep. Please don't take away our coffee.
Yeah.
So.
It's so funny. Like she'll have like something going on medically for herself. Like not medically, but like, oh, my arm hurts, and I'm like, well, have you been doing this? Oh yeah. I'm like, you're the nurse, not me. But like, if it came to me or the kids or her family or whatever, she'd be like, if her mother had complained about heartburn, she would have been like, what are you eating? What are you drinking? Okay, try that. But when it comes to her, it's just like, whoosh. There's a blinder on when it comes to self stuff. Anyway, total tangent. So I think we should slide over and get started with the news.
Yeah.
All right, so before we get to some of the topics that we had planned in advance yesterday when we did the show notes, we also left room just in case there was anything big in the Future of Gaming presentation that was given yesterday. Jeff Keighley doing a little pre-show thing with a few different guests, podcast style, very similar to the free-to-play cast that you're watching now, the exact way they did it. And then Sony obviously had its big show. It was what, about 40 minutes-ish? 40, 45 minutes,
A little
Jason?
over an hour.
Was it really?
It lasted past 5. You were streaming, you didn't even notice.
Oh, yeah, I was streaming at the beginning portion of it. Well, no, I know Jeff's part was like an hour. I thought
that was an hour, because the other thing started at 4.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Okay,
it was, yeah.
So the PlayStation part went a little longer than I thought it did then. Really, I thought they did well from a presentational standpoint. They did what worked for them at E3 when they made Microsoft look really stupid for giving these long-winded presentations, and Sony just came out and was like, here's some games. Right,
yeah,
and that was a couple years ago, and then Xbox turned around and did it to them. But they stuck to that format. There were a few 15-second intros to a couple different things by some different developers, different companies, different reps at Sony. But really, it was just game trailer, gameplay, game trailer, gameplay, one after another, all the way through until, of course, what I expected to be there, the big hardware reveal at the end. Going into this, Jason, what was your hype for it? Because nobody really knew what exactly to expect, and I was asked on our MMO Bomb stream before it happened, what's my hype? And I probably put it at about a 7, maybe an 8, only because what I expected was they got to show us the hardware at this point, and then I don't really know what to expect from the rest of the show besides some videos, and I don't know who's going to be there, like what companies are going to be there to really get, a 9 or a 10 hype. So I was probably trending at like a 7 or an 8.
I mean, I haven't bought a PlayStation or a console of any kind since the PS2 back in like 20 years ago.
Jeez.
So I haven't gotten hyped for a console review in ever, or a console reveal rather in ever. So
0.
Yeah, I mean, I still want to see shiny new stuff, so maybe like a 3 or something. But I was like, yeah, whatever. It's going to show me some stuff. This is one of the rare cases where I'll actually not get an anticipation of something beforehand. I'll just watch it. I just watch and enjoy. So,
what about you, Q? Did you have any? I know you're not huge into consoles either, but did you have any hey, I'm really interested to see if I get a glimpse at X or Y?
Okay, first of all, I love consoles. I'm just broke all the time, so I don't buy them. But no, because honestly, until you said something yesterday, I had somehow even missed that there was going to be a thing.
That's hype right there.
Well, I mean, just with all the delays, and my brain is already set on, at this point, everything is canceled. Everything that anybody was ever going to do this year is canceled, so I'm just not even looking for it most of the time. And I'll see something that's like, oh, we're going to do a thing. And it's like, okay, well, you're going to do a thing, but it's not going to be the thing. So whatever. And I just really wasn't paying attention. Then I was writing when it was going on. I know that Funcom announced some a rhythm kind of a rhythm shooter game, which hilariously would probably be right up my alley. But I mean, other than that and a few other just small things I saw, and of course I saw the console, what the console itself looks like, but I haven't looked into what the specs and everything are on it. It looks weird. Which is what we say about every generation ever, right? Every time they show us a new one, it's like, that looks odd. Because it just doesn't look like the one before it that we're used to seeing, and then we eventually get used to it. Then the next one is odd.
Yeah, this one, let's actually talk about that a little bit, because this one's kind of, I feel like, Jason, I'm in the minority on this one. I actually liked the design of it. It did, I've got to say that it did automatically make me think of a
reverse ice cream sandwich.
Reverse ice cream sandwich. Yeah, thank you for reminding me what I actually said. I couldn't remember. It does kind of look like a reverse ice cream sandwich to me. I did like it. I get all the memes, comparing it to a modem or a router with 2 pieces of paper next to it. I've seen all the fun memes coming out. I kind of like the design. My son did not like it. He seems to be in the majority when you make your rounds across the internet. It's not like I'm that's groundbreaking, that's fantastic, but I'm I like that aesthetic. I'm all right with that. What'd you think, Jason?
Yeah, like I told you too, I'm generally pretty console design agnostic. The exception being, wasn't the Xbox put up a fridge or something for their next thing? with the giant block.
It is very blocky.
That I admit I'm not a big fan of, but I don't really care about the PlayStation 5. I think it looks fine. And if I want to get one, it's not going to be, or not get one, it's not going to have anything to do with, what it looks like.
Q?
I mean, again, they all always look a little weird to me when they first reveal them. The only problem I really have with any of the designs ever is that the more like this kind of stuff they do, you're very limited on where you can decide to put the damn thing. Because this is obviously designed to just stand up, and so you can't, do the whole turning it on its side and shoving it into
it does sit on its side too, though. Like if you look at the right-hand side of that, it is not curved and bowing out. So they have images of it sitting on its side too. Just like the PS4, the PS3, and the PS2, it could do both the vertical and the horizontal format. I always like, and I get it, the display purpose, having it upright, it creates a better, a better image to frame as far as marketing goes. But honestly, like, I thought it was so cool that the PS2 could be upright. I have not put a single system upright because they don't fit in entertainment centers, to Q's point. They don't fit in entertainment centers like that.
Well, and I don't know if you remember this years ago when Gary was having his Rock Band parties, and somebody kicked over his console because it was just up wherever it was at. It was upright, and somebody got a little too into what they were doing and swung their foot out and kicked over the console. And it's like, I would much rather have the console where it's protected from stray flying feet.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it probably makes for a better visual when you do the marketing photos. That's probably why.
Yeah, that's what I just said. That I get why they do this shot. It creates a better shot to frame and everything. Otherwise, everything's in a straight line in the picture. I like the controller too. That had been previously revealed. My son did not like that. So he went around, hey, I don't like the controller. I don't like the console now, the way it looks. Yeah, I seem to be in the minority, but whatever. I'm cool with it. I kind of dig it. Yeah, I get the memes. They're funny. Keep them coming. There wasn't anything... We're not going to spend a lot more time on this, because there wasn't anything really specific to free-to-play, but when we do E3 coverage, we kind of go through all the big shows anyway, whether or not there's free-to-play stuff in there. So I think let's just kind of wrap it up with this. They showed a lot of games. Give me 2 or 3 that you are kind of looking forward to, or at least want to know more about. I want to know more about Returnal, the game where like the scientist kept in a loop. The crash, the monster, my death. The crash, the monster, my death. I want to know more about that. That loop has been done in many movies and TV shows and games before, but I am interested. I do want to see that. I liked seeing a little more of Godfall. That is one that we saw teased before and announced back, I think it was E3 last year, as a release title for the PlayStation 5 this holiday season. That is more like a sword and board Destiny Anthem, loot cycle type game. So it was nice to see some more what looked like in-game actual combat and things like that. So interested to know more about that. And Square Enix's new project, what is it? Anthea, I think? Something like that.
Anthea, yeah.
Yeah, that looked neat. Again, all 3 of these are things that I want to know more about that I'm just watching. None of it has me super hyped and I gotta see it yet because we just don't have a lot of information. And of course, I think the winner of the show was the Horizon sequel, the Horizon Zero Dawn sequel. So those are kind of like the 3 or 4 that I really Bug Snacks. I don't know what the hell that is, but I want to see. I want to see what that is. By the people that did Octodad. So I thought there was quite a few titles in there, and there's more that I am interested in to learn more about. And so I think for me, the show, I was hyped at about a 7 or an 8, and I think it delivered at the level of about a 6 or a 7. So I'm okay with the way the show went, and those are some of the titles looking forward to. What about you, Jason?
I've been jonesing for some new open world game to play sometime, so definitely I'm looking at the Horizon as being a big thing. I still need to play the original, which is supposed to be out on Steam sometime this summer. So
yeah, I was gonna say, I know your girlfriend has a PS4. Did you ever play Horizon?
No, we have not played it.
Okay, so you're just gonna wait for the PC release?
I think we're both gonna wait for the PC release. Yeah,
gotcha.
So definitely that, and so I'm kind of interested in the new one. And then Project Athia, the same thing. Jeff Keighley actually showed a little bit of that also, like a nice landscape of like movement a little bit during his show, like at the beginning of that when I watched, and it looks really pretty, really cool. Even that like that one car game, like someone called it a Titanfall with cars, Destruction All Stars. Even that was kind of neat.
Yeah,
interested to see how that goes. And then of course I Stray, the play as a cat game. I gotta look at that.
Yeah, I did watch that trailer, and both my son, because he came down and watched it with me, and we were both like, I don't know what the hell this is about, but I want to know more. What's going on with this cat? Like, what is going on with this cat?
Although I noticed you got like a little backpack on, so I hope they have a good inventory system.
Well, I mean, it can only hold like 6, Meow Mix treats. That's what.
And how does he take them out? Does he has paws? Whatever.
What about you, Q? Anything strike your fancy?
Like so I missed so much of it yesterday because, again, with the internet situation, I don't watch the streams on. I can't right now watch streams and shit on Twitch.
Any day now you're gonna get proper internet. Any day now.
Well, hopefully. I mean, I don't know if it stopped because of the Corona thing or anything, but yeah. But I did see some stuff just kind of filtering through on my Twitter and stuff, and like I said, that Funcom thing, I'm actually. Like it kind of fits my area. I like rhythm games and stuff like that. So that the Spider-Man thing people were talking about, I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan, but Spider-Man games are always freaking fun.
Yeah.
Like that is something that just lends itself to being a
That's
very
weird
fun
that you express it that way. That's a better way to express it. I'm not a huge Spider-Man guy. I enjoyed the last game. I probably will enjoy this, but I'm not hyped for it. My son was all kinds of hyped for it. And that's a great way it's the same way I feel. Spider-Man himself I don't really care about, but those games tend to be fun.
Yeah, it just lends itself, the whole, swinging through the city on your web thing and everything. It just lends itself to being a very fun game as a general rule. So those, I would say, anything involving cats, obviously, I'm big on. So, but yeah, I mean, overall, and I mean, I'm still waiting for games that I've been waiting for what, like over 5 years to come out at this point. So.
So all in all, not too shabby. Not too shabby. It was a mediocre show, I think, but I went into it with mediocre expectations, maybe slightly above mediocre. So I definitely can understand, Jason, where some people are coming from saying they really didn't like the show, that it was pointless. They went through all these trailers that really didn't give a lot of information on anything and then had a reveal for a console that they didn't like the look of. So I can understand why people might have been disappointed with it. I just wasn't in that category. All right, moving on. Yeah, moving on. Destiny 2 went ahead and basically, put out a roadmap, right? And we get roadmaps all the time, Jason. Here's what's happening in Star Trek Online, Q, over the next 6 months. And Q will write up a piece and put the nice infographic in and all that stuff. And yeah, we get those all the time. Well, Destiny had a reveal 3 days ago on Tuesday that we expected to be a expansion announcement, because it is getting to that time of the year when Destiny moves to another expansion, and maybe some details on some changes, particularly changes to the way the seasons work and the season pass works. Those have been two kind of hot button issues for Destiny 2 players lately, since the conversion to free-to-play, and what's that going to look like? We went into it, and that was my only expectation from it. Here, we're going to get an announcement. And we actually walked away with about a 3-year roadmap, Jason. And not, like, we're going to work on this and work on that. We got titles of shit. We got directions of storyline. We got how they're going to be phasing content in and out. I thought this was a reveal that went above and beyond what anybody probably expected going into it.
I mean, they got more done in half an hour than, like you said, as the PlayStation got people did in like an hour in terms of revealing stuff. But yeah, like you said, they announced their next 3 expansions, the one this fall and the 2 in the next years after that, as well as talking about the new season, which is live now, so you can check that out. And I think you streamed a lot of that yesterday.
Yep, I'm going to be streaming it today too.
So yeah, they had a ton. They really did. So we got 3 expansions. The one that'll come out in September of this year, Beyond Light.
kind of going with the new light, beyond light, because the whole story is now fading kind of into the darkness, right? The Guardians have been all about light and light and light and light and light, and the Traveler and light and light and light. Now might be kind of pulled towards the darkness, beginning with some of the stuff that's in the game now for the new season, all the way through this next expansion. They did say, and I don't, the way they worded it, I don't expect it'll be this expansion, but they are saying that this will work towards actually getting a fourth element for you to choose from as far as your spec goes. Instead of just Arc, Solar, and Void, you will also have Dark. Now, I don't think the way they worded that's going to be, boom, available as soon as Beyond Light launches. Maybe it will be, but I kind of got the sense the way they worded it that it was, we're building to that. I don't know when. So maybe I just kind of didn't, they could have been more... Maybe I wasn't
paying close attention, because they said a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they definitely did. Which I thought that was probably the most interesting part, because that is a lot of work to add that to this game, and they said exactly that. It's a lot of work to add this, because it is building on an entire framework. Then we're going to continue to move over the next 2 years through 2 other expansions. We're going to have the the Taken Queen, the version of the Taken King. It's the Witch Queen, the Taken King's sister, I believe, lore-wise. Don't quote me if I'm wrong on that, because I'm not a huge Destiny lore hound, but I believe that is the Taken King's sister. And then fading all the way, they have a working title for it. For the one 2 years from now, what was it called? Lightfall. Yeah, thank you. Which I would think that they've got to change that. That sounds a little too James Bondy Skyfall to me.
No, whatever.
So I think they gotta work on that. They did say that was a working title. Q, one of the most interesting things that I thought in this, the file for this game is massive, and it's just getting bigger, and they address that. They're going to put together what they call the Destiny Content Vault. And so we're now going to start to see in the future here old content being cycled out and vaulted, a la, Disney's Blu-ray DVD vault. Have content cycled out into the vault so that the file size is contained. There's not just all this blank stuff that nobody's doing. And then sometimes they'll cycle some things in and out from that vault to keep the file size small, to keep the content fresh. Not only Destiny 2 content, but they did allude to bringing some Destiny 1 content into Destiny 2 through this vault process. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Give that... especially with the Destiny 1 stuff, right? It means that stuff doesn't just go to waste because nobody's playing that anymore. When I was first reading through it and I saw the word vault, it made me think of, I think it's Warframe, right? That vaults the different...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the primes.
Warframe, yeah, vaults the different primes and then rolls them out every so often for whatever they're doing. It kind of made me think of that, but obviously this is on a much larger scale. It's more than just, like a playable character that you're vaulting. But I think, considering the file size and considering not everybody has terabytes of hard drive space sitting around on their computer, that this is a pretty good idea. And it's much better than, say, taking the Ion route where they're just like, okay, screw it, we're just going to wipe out everything and it's just never coming back into the game. Mm-hmm. And so all this content that used to exist, if you didn't get to experience it, it's just gone kind of deal. I think this is a much better way to go.
Yeah, a Cosmodrome, a fan favorite, from the original Destiny 1 and from will be cycled in as one of the first things, along with all of its content, its dungeons, its flashpoint, its strikes, its raids, and stuff like that. To give you an idea, this is from when Shadowkeep launched, but so the end of last year. Shadowkeep, which launches on October 1st on PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4, is big. Very big. This is Forbes magazine, by the way. According to the game's official store page, the minimum space required to download the game will be 68 gigabytes. This swells the current game from 96 gigs to around 165 gigs, which is truly a massive file, no matter how you spin it. Particularly if you have just the 500 gigabyte hard drive on your consoles. So Big files. So this kind of makes sense, Jason, and I think is a nice
Yeah.
compromise on, do we just get rid of stuff? You know, and I am concerned, like, I want to know, how does that work for a brand new player? Like, you can't play then through the Destiny 2 main storyline because one or two of the planets that are currently cycled out were part of the main storyline. Like, I don't know how that's going to work. We'll have to keep an eye on it.
I mean, the other thing that I think about too is they talk about in their article how they said, you know, that a lot of their content includes stuff that isn't relevant anymore, and it says, they said Warmind's campaign represents only about 0.3% of all time played in Season 3 of the Season of the Worthy, and yet the Warmind expansion accounts for 5% of our total install size. And that always got me thinking about something like Guild Wars 2. Like, I always thought about that because they'll have their story. Like, oh, here's our new chapter. Here's the story stuff. All the voice acting and all the particularly set stuff they have to do to make characters go where they want and so on. And I think that takes like 4 to 6 hours maybe if you're really kind of going slowly through it. And then you have the other 3 months until the next expansion comes out, and you're spending all that running around the zone. It always just seemed horribly inefficient to have a linear story in an MMO. And this kind of indicates the same thing. Now, 5% of their install size, but only 0.3% of play. You know, granted, it's a little older content, so not as many people are going through it. But I don't know. I feel like they're figuring that out now and figuring that way to do it. But I agree with you that for players who are new to the game and want to do that older content, the older story content, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
They
Cycle
did
back in?
maybe. They did mention the concern of the fear of missing out, the FOMO. For the seasonal stuff. That has been a big point of pushback from Destiny 2 players. And honestly, I said it on stream yesterday, and I think, Jason, you feel the same. Well, you have an additional gripe because of certain things being locked behind the season pass that I don't have.
That's why it's not taking up 150 gig on my system anymore.
Right, but by itself, you know, Destiny 2 has always been that game that even more so than like running dailies in Final Fantasy or Guild Wars or, you know, whatever, your MMO of choice, I've always felt like I almost have to play Destiny to stay, you know, on the most recent content. I've always felt like that. And then you don't play for 3 or 4 days, and even though you may be like, oh yeah, I want to play some Destiny, oh shit, you know, I haven't played in 5 days. I only got 2 days to do that shit before it recycles next Tuesday. I'll just wait till Tuesday, and you don't play. And then Tuesday comes, and you're like, oh, shit, I'm already a week behind on this stuff, you know?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, that's just the feeling of the game for me. I really like Destiny 2, but I hate that feeling, and it sounds like I'm not the only one, with the additional caveat of those players that are like, if I don't play enough, I'm not going to get those rewards from the season's pass that I really want, or this, or this, or this, or this.
Because you got to kill 1,500 Taken or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not going to fall behind, so why bother?
My aspect isn't so much that, but that is another concern as well. It sounds like they have some thoughts. They really didn't go into detail, but they have some thoughts on where they want to take that. So we'll see. I mean, that's a lot. If you want to check out the article, it's over at mmobomb.com. We've got links to how they're going to work the vault and everything like that. Give you some examples. Take a peek at it. And I know you won't see this before the stream, but Monday through Friday on twitch.tv/mmobomb, we're always streaming free-to-play games, either myself, Jason Winter, or both of us. Agents Biohunters was fun.
It was something.
It was a game. I'll be playing probably Destiny 2 for a couple of days because I'm angry at Phantasy Star Online 2. We'll talk about that when we get to the bombs. Moving on with the news here. Maybe there is such a thing, Q, as making too much money, because even shareholders start complaining at a certain. Do you know how badly something has to be blown out of proportion for a shareholder to complain as long as the stock price is up? Do you know, like, the stock price is up? Okay, the shareholders have nothing to say. Nothing to say in most cases. But there are a few shareholders taking a look at Activision-Blizzard and, in particular, Bobby Kotick's, the CEO's pay, and saying, yeah, you're making too much money. This needs to be looked at. What do you think?
I mean, I generally think he's making too much money anyway, but I'm one of those people that fall in the line almost of eat the rich, except they'd probably taste bad. So, I mean, There's a point where you and your descendants and everybody else behind you are not going to be able to spend all the money you have made. And he's definitely one of those people. So happy to kind of freak out and be like, yeah, we need to stop paying you as much as we're paying you. Maybe the money could go somewhere more important.
Yeah, maybe towards not laying off 800 people during one of your most successful quarters ever, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just to pick a random hypothetical, here's where some money could go. The complaint started with CTW Investment Group. That's really hard for me to say because of the company that I work for is CWT. So CTW Investment Group, and they said, which represents a substantial portion of Activision Blizzard's shareholders, they believe that Kotick's compensation for his role is outsized when taking into account the company's recent performance. Also, talking about human capital management, talking about those layoffs.
that was a great phrase there. Yeah.
Yeah. They called out his skewed approach to human capital management, lavishing multi-million-dollar rewards on the CEO as employees face layoffs, and they felt that this needs to be addressed before it manifests in deeper operational problems. Now, their stock price has been tremendous for a while now, and just going crazy in some respects. But this complaint is still coming, Jason. While, the stock's not tumbling and they're complaining, it's up, and they're complaining, saying that over 90% of Kotick's proxy reported compensation is performance-based. Performance-based. So there's just millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in there as bonuses, and that his compensation highly outweighs it's consistently larger than the total pay of CEO peers at similar companies. Kind of tremendous to be saying this out loud and in the public.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't have a concept of what it takes to make $100 million a year, like what kind of work you have to do and how good do you have to be. Like, I can't imagine making more than, like I said in the article, you can probably find someone who'd take the job for like 20 million or so and be pretty good. And even 20 million, I'd be okay with that. If they want me to be their CEO for 20 million, I'll take that. So,
right.
Like, I don't know what more you have to do above and beyond to get that 100 million. And then also, as you mentioned, lay off 800 people who, even at it's 800 at 100,000 apiece. That's about 80. That's about 80 million probably. So that would be that would be the difference there. You could have kept those people and only given 20 million to your CEO. So I don't know. Yeah, I agree that the notion, especially the part where they say it needs to be addressed before it manifests in deeper operational problems. Like if you're someone who wanted to, if you love Blizzard games, whatever, and you wanted to work there, do you not look at that what's happened and say, even if we do a good job, even if I do great and we have a great quarter, I could still be laid off.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll go work somewhere else instead. And that's what I wonder if any of that is happening, that talented people don't necessarily want to go to Blizzard because they see how it goes and think that they don't have a chance even if they do well.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, they had a great quarter and still got, layoffs across the board. Yeah. There were reports prior to that of, the stress-induced work environment that provided because they were constantly under threat of layoff.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Even before that, the actual layoff happened. So it's like you sit there. I know what it's like, and maybe most of us do, right? Most of us have been laid off from a job at some point in our life, or had a company close that we were working for at some point, something like that. Some haven't, but many have, and so that feeling like, oh, is the company closing? Like, am I going to have a job 3 weeks from now? Like, imagine living with that feeling going in and out of work every day for months. But when
I had that happen to me, I knew our magazine was going in the shitter. So I was like, okay, I understand. If I get laid off, I understand that. If we were selling like, 500,000 magazines a month and then they tell me that I'm being laid off, I'd be like, wait, why? We're amazing. Yeah. Why? What? So that's the point.
On the other end of the Blizzard spectrum, Heroes of the Storm may not be as dead as we thought. Maybe? I don't know. There's new heroes, right?
They are doing, putting out apparently new heroes, and they suspect that, they announced that there would be multiple heroes this year. I'm guessing there's probably going to be about 2 because we're already mid-year in.
Yeah.
And the suspicion
2 is multiple.
It is multiple.
Right. Well, but they said only 1 is coming soon. And they've been there's been snow in the Nexus, so people think it's probably going to be May. That will be
from Overwatch. Yep.
Yeah,
right,
I mean that kind of makes sense, right?
Right. It makes sense. She does the whole snow or wintry kind of thing, so it seems very appropriate for her. But it's so weird to me because they basically told everybody, okay, well, we're not doing anything anymore with all the esports and stuff, and then everybody's like, well, okay, this game is probably dead then, and yet they're still rolling out heroes every so often. So I don't know what. I guess they just like the game and want to keep doing stuff with it.
It is absolutely a game I wish was on Steam. So so Jason could Steam charts the shit out of that one.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, like you said, they stopped doing the esports stuff a long time ago. But even before that, I heard from people who played it, who still like to play it, that the PvE aspect of it was actually pretty fun. And it's like, I know they did sort of the rebrand, or they did the revamp, or whatever it was.
Right.
And I didn't really pay much attention to what that was, but now I'm thinking that's what they should do. Like, they should say this is the PvE MOBA. This is that kind of game. Because all the other MOBAs are trying to be PvP, esports, big competition, whatever. If they've abandoned that, and if they're pretty good at this, that should be their focus, and that should be all their branding and marketing or whatever. So, but I don't know. It's not like I hear about big new scenarios or something they're doing. So
right.
Maybe they just.
Well, hey, if you're a Heroes of the Storm fan, congratulations. You're getting at least 2 new heroes between now and the end of the year. 1 relatively soon. Blizzard soon. The shooting game wars of 2020 continue. That we got updates on Crucible, Valorant, and hell, let's just throw Agents Biohunters in there. Jason, you and I can cover this one real quickly. This was a bizarre little game from an 8-person studio, Playstart Games. We streamed it. They did an alpha test earlier this year. We didn't take part in that. It was a very brief test, but they have a new testing early access phase on Steam right now. Jason and I opted on a whim the day last Friday we were going to stream together to do this game. Basically, it's a cartoony version of the Heart of the Wild mode in Crucible.
Heart of the Hives. Yeah,
Heart of the Hives. Apologies. Thank you. Yeah. You capture some gems through protecting a drill and killing things that are around it, with the added twist of once you do that, you then can enter an arena that's previously been locked and start taking on a boss to kill it, while the other team may still be trying to get 3 gems and enter the arena and come in and kill that same boss. Separate health bars for the boss, the same target, but separate health bars for each team, which I thought was a really, really clever little mechanic in there. As far as server stability, rough. That was the worst thing. But honestly, I had fun playing it. Right now, it's just, we're not going to do a first look on it yet. It's not ready for that. There was a bug with the season pass where we were able to purchase the same things over and over again, so I kept purchasing the cash shop currency, of course, after every match. So I don't know. It was neat. It was fun. I don't know how much of it was fun because the game was fun or because Jason, you and I were having fun streaming it together and interacting with the crowd and stuff. I don't know. I'll give it another shot, though. It did that much for me. And we're 3-0.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I might just want to retire undefeated. I don't know if I want to jump back in. But yeah, it was kind of fun. It's service stability and also population. Even when the servers were fine, sitting and waiting, 20 minutes for people to populate a match. I don't know how you're going to fix that other than be more popular and get more people in, but you need better stability, you need better marketing and so forth. So I don't know. I don't know. Good luck, guys. But
yeah, it's gonna be an uphill climb. But I think there's something at least worth looking at there. We'll just have to wait and see if it gets polished a little bit. We'll see. But I had fun. On that note, speaking of that particular game mode, Crucible is actually going to end up removing its 2 other game modes besides the Heart of the Hives mode. Battle Royale, going to be the first to go. Is it gone already? I know that was going to be a pretty quick one, but I don't know if they gave it.
On Steam here
yeah, it's going to be gone. If it's not gone already, the Battle Royale mode's going to be gone shortly. And then Heart of the Hives will stay, which that kind of jives with exactly what Jason and I said multiple times while we were playing on stream that this should be the only mode. It's the only one that's any fun. And even this one still needs to be worked on. Map size, ability to traverse the map on a respawn, stuff like that. And they are a mini-map. You know, those types of things are coming. They talked about those in a developer video. The other mode, I can't even remember the name of it. What was the second mode? Not the Battle Royale.
Harvester Command.
Yeah, Harvester Command. That is going to be in the game for a little while, but it will be removed in the future. So, looks like Crucible found a way to focus? I don't know.
I guess that's what it is, and I'm assuming they looked at what everybody, you know, was playing the most and went, all right, this is obviously what people like. We'll just drop everything else off. I hope that's what they did. Otherwise, you know, there's a bunch of unhappy people running around. But I mean, yeah, games kind of need, to a certain extent, they kind of need to do that because otherwise you just have like this buffet of everything, and I feel like it makes things harder, especially in competitive games, if you have everybody spread out through a bunch of different content type stuff, and then, you know, you don't have enough people over here doing this or enough people over here doing that to make anything worthwhile to do. So hopefully this works for them.
Jason, does Crucible have a chance? Right now Steam chart shows it at 394 people online. And over the last 6 days, it really isn't climbing above the 800 mark, normally trending between the 600 and the 700 mark. That is a dramatic drop. A dramatic drop. 10,000 on May 24th. Okay, I know that's
whatever.
Launch and
Day
stuff,
one, whatever. I never pay that much attention to that. But.
Okay, but you have to pay attention to the fact, Jason, that when they launched back in the end of May, they hit the 10,000 mark. They kept trending around the 8,000 mark, and literally by June 1st, we're sub 1,000. Yeah. Within the span of a little over a week. That you do have to pay attention to, I think.
I mean, I have to agree with Zach from last piece saying just really poor management. For them to not have understood, for them to be ripping out the 2 other game modes now, as opposed to when they were in private testing, and whatever their testers were probably saying was, hey, this isn't fun. This isn't fun. Let's just do this one. I guess they just ignored that. Like, probably because, as mentioned, someone in charge said, no, we're going to make this work. We're good. We're Amazon. We know how to do this. And they were just wrong. They weren't good enough, basically. So yeah. For them not to have realized that, not to have taken that loss, just I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know that they're going to react well enough to the feedback to actually get it done right and turn it around.
Well, and speed, like it or not, speed is an issue here now. You have got to turn this around quickly, or it's not going to get turned around at all. You don't like being in that position. Hey, we believe we can make these changes. Take these two modes out. Put in the mini map. Do this. Do this. Do this. We need 3 months to do this type of stuff, but we believe that'll push things in the right direction. But if your player base isn't going to stick around, the minimal player base you have right now, if they're not even going to stick around for 3 months, you've got no leg to stand on when you make that pitch on, we think we can turn this around. Speed is absolutely a factor here. And when speed becomes a factor in development, there tend to be more mistakes made in development and bugs and things like that along the way. So I don't know. I still think closing by the end of the year is a bit much, but maybe not.
Rule it out.
I won't rule it out anymore. Maybe Zach's got that one. All right, finishing off with the shooters. Valorant wants to come to consoles, but doesn't want to compromise on competitive integrity. Ooh. I don't know about you, but I don't think, obviously I know why they want to get on consoles, more players and stuff like that, but I don't feel like Valorant is really the type of game that's going to do well on consoles personally, just because of how focused it is on precision aiming, and I guess they could, hitbox things and aim assist and stuff like that. But I feel like exactly what they're talking about. It becomes a different competitive game at that point. I see what they're talking about here, even though I might go, hey, you guys need to worry about an audience size before you start worrying about competitive integrity of the game right now.
Well, all they have to do is run the promotion to get the beta on something on your console, and then they'll get tons of people. So
there you go.
But yeah, I mean, if you look at the game like Overwatch is on consoles, and it does pretty well there. What is Warframe? I guess not a competitive game, I guess, but Warface,
right.
Warframe, games like that.
Q, your favorite game, Warface.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not like you can't have a good shooter on consoles, and obviously those have done really well. And Overwatch, while the competitive scene is PC based, I'm sure the players on consoles still do pretty well and have their own competitive games and rankings and stuff. So I don't think it's that crazy of an idea. I think her talking about we want to have strong level of competitive integrity or whatever is just we just need to get the programming done. Like when they can get it there, I think they will. So I don't know that it's necessarily competitive integrity. That's their way of saying it's going to take a while.
Executive producer Anna Donlan said her team was prototyping a console version, Q, but that they wouldn't be looking to compromise the game's strong level of competitive integrity to do so. In particular, she was concerned about the possibility of players having an advantage based on what platform they're using. The same problem that every shooter that comes out on multiple platforms worries about.
Yeah, this has been... I don't know this is... ever not been a thing since they started putting the same game across multiple platforms. And that's part of the reason why, initially at least, the games were broken up where, okay, PC players play together, console players, Xbox players play together, PlayStation players play together. I mean, if that's something that they're seriously worried about, they could do it that way. And I guess maybe that would solve the problem. Of course, then they'd basically be making 3 different games, right? So,
yeah,
that might be a bigger issue. I don't know. Maybe just worry about making sure it's right on PC for now, and not necessarily worry about that.
Yeah, that might be a good place to start.
But the money.
If you try to do it on 3 different things and you don't have it right on at least one, you're not going to make any money.
Just call up Bobby.
That sounds like Crucible.
Yeah. Call up Bobby Kotick and ask for a couple bucks. To no one's surprise, by the way, before we head over to the weekly bombs here, apparently Neilsen reporting, this is, if you're not in the United States, you might not be all that familiar with the name Neilsen, but you know what they do. They do a lot of surveying of consumer usage and watching things on television, movies, media, all that type of thing. They actually own Super Data, which you may be familiar with from some of our different reporting on numbers and things like that, even though we're a little skeptical of some of Super Data's data sometimes. Anyway, they have reported that video games and watching streaming and entertainment did pretty good during this whole pandemic. Gee, I'm shocked and amazed by this. Who would have thought that when you had to stay home all day, you might play a video game or two or watch something on Netflix? The report said 82% of global consumers played video games and watched video game content during the COVID-19 lockdowns. Since March 23rd, the number of people playing games has increased by 46% in the United States, 41% in France, 28% in the UK, and 23% in Germany. And Twitch engagement at the same time in the US rose from 13 million hours daily to 31 million hours from January 1st to March 28th. And on that last day, 1/3 of the hours viewed were in the top 50 streams: League of Legends, Fortnite, Counter-Strike Global Offensive. And 1/3 of esports fans said they watched esports as an alternative to traditional TV content. Q, I'm like, that must be your shocked face, because I don't understand how you aren't blown away by this data.
It's actually really, I don't know. One of the emails you sent me, like a press release we were getting or something, had the little introductory email attached to it. And it was so funny because it was tied into this, where it was basically like things suck for everybody else, but we're really doing great.
I do remember, yeah.
Industry.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, yeah, because honestly...
I thought that was actually a really weird way to send me a press release, actually, when I read that. I was like...
It was such a distant from the other email that we got from somebody else a while back that was like, we hope you're doing well, but we're really like freaked out and, you know, and stressed out and scared right now. But this one is like, yeah, things are great for the game industry, and it's like it's true. I mean, it sucks that this is the reason why things have to be great for the games industry. But at least the games industry is surviving. Like, there's other hilariously, despite the amount of television and stuff being consumed right now, the TV and those parts of the entertainment industry are not doing really well monetarily at all. So, I mean, it sucks that it's this way, but at least, you know, I guess at least the games industry is going to survive the whole mess and be just fine.
Jason, you also, I mean, you just have this, oh my God, I'm so surprised face on.
You know, I actually am a little surprised reading that Twitch in-game. It's going from 13 million to 31 million hours. That's like 2.5 times as much, so... That bit does surprise me a little bit to see that it's been that much of an increase.
Really? Because that didn't... I mean, it's a big number, no doubt. It's impressive.
Well, you know what the reason for it is.
But it's like anybody that was going to work and would watch 2 hours of a stream in the evening is now working from home or on furlough from home and has the stream on for 6 to 8 hours in the background while they're working or watching.
Well, but I mean, the big reason for that, of course, is us doing our regular Twitch streams for mobile.
Well, I mean, this coincides with us starting to stream Monday through Friday at 2. I mean, I don't know about... If you've never shown up for the streams, there are about 2.7 million people in each one. I mean, average. I don't want to... It's not 3. It's not there yet.
Yeah, I mean, that are like 2.7 people, something like that.
Something like that. All right, let's slide over to the weekly bombs. Jason, you can go first, because I'm curious about yours.
I have like 5 words there, and 2 of them are da bomb, and he's just like, what does that mean?
I'm like, what is... What?
I'm just giving it da bomb to having a game show. Having game shows, watching previews and trailers and stuff, even if they're all... That doesn't seem that complex. I just like watching the pretty images.
It says da bomb to game shows, and I'm like, is he sitting around watching the fucking Price is Right and
no,
Family Feud? Like, why is he giving a da bomb to game shows?
No. Da bomb is seeing all the new trailers and cool
Those
stuff.
types of game
Even if half
shows.
of them are going to come out for the next 2 years or whatever, or they're overstating how good they're going to be.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, see,
I did not.
Current events, man. Current events.
Oh my God! Yeah. Well, speaking of that, we have the PC Gamer Show starting tomorrow. We'll probably get some free-to-play news out of that. So something, maybe like an Apex Legends thing or something like that. I'm really interested to see what Square has to say because they were almost entirely absent from that PS5 thing. Besides that the one project, they were kaput. They were gone, and I fully expected to get like a shot of maybe. FF7 Remake Part 1 playing on the PS5 or the title screen reveal for Final Fantasy 16, something. So maybe we'll see that at the PC Game Show tomorrow. Those game shows. Gotcha. Go ahead, Q.
I'm giving a da-bomb to the Samsung Odyssey ending with me getting a fucking check. I didn't expect it because the last communication I got from them was a text saying you need to send us a picture of the serial number on the back of your monitor, which I had already sent to them before they sent me that message, and I was like, well, I'm fucked now.
What an ordeal.
I'm not getting this. And then 2 days ago, the timing was perfect because 2 days ago I spilt Dr. Pepper on the keyboard and it died. A horrible, sad death. And then Paige, who I live with, walks in and she's like, you got this thing from Samsung. And I opened it and I was like, holy crap, a check.
Nice.
Like, your keyboard. So, yay.
I'm going to give an A-bomb to Phantasy Star Online 2 on PC. This is absurd. It is weeks later. The Microsoft Store still has issues. The Microsoft Store still will not let you actually get this game to run on a drive that is not your root drive with Windows on it. For a week, I was able to stream from PC. PSO Tweaker finally let you install the entire file. That worked for me. I was able to stream from PC for a week. It was beautiful. It was fun. And then the update this week totally borked that for me. I can't even get PSO Tweaker to stay on my computer. It sometimes now disappears after an install or a manual file check. And then sometimes a file doesn't have permissions. It's just I'm done with the PC version for now. I'm done. Until there is like a Steam release or until there's a actual announcement from the Microsoft Store or from the PSO team that we have fixed these issues, go try now. I'm done. I will continue to stream PSO 2, but I will be doing it now back on the Xbox One. It's just significantly easier for me than dealing with all this fiasco. But fuck, A-bomb to the Microsoft Store. And PSO 2 on the PC. From the viewers, Guestly, I could not stop laughing, but A-bomb to Mike for pointing out my grammar mistake about my dick skills. Thanks. On stream, see, Guestly was asking about disc skills or skilled discs from Phantasy Star Online 2 and how to do them. Asked where he could get his dick skills, and on stream I was like, I don't know, maybe like the Kama Sutra. I mean, you get some.
Did you time out or ban him? I mean, talking like that in chat, I don't know, man.
Go ahead, Jason. Take the next one.
Nasagra says, "Dub bomb to the Arc Slayer and the PSO2 community for making it a more functional launcher than Microsoft and Sega.
That they do.
Finding it into the game thanks to it. Now I need to get past the first real boss character creator."
Yeah, and by the way, I don't think any of my problems are PSO2 tweaker related. I think the Microsoft Store and the files are interfering in what PSO is 2 tweakers trying to do. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, we don't want them to be able to do this.
Sure.
You know, and so there's something conflicting.
Well, then we just won't play your game. There we go.
Yeah, I'll just stick to it on the Xbox One for now. I'm done with the PC fiasco. Go ahead, Q.
Sure. Windows 10 exclusive for a game that's almost 10 years old now. No release in Europe and a launch filled with technical issues that makes the game completely unplayable. Yeah, I think I'll stick to the Japanese servers on PC using the translation patch until Sega and Microsoft get their shit together and remember that Europe exists.
Marco Z says, you can't get a desktop icon. Pro tip, drag the icon from the start menu to the desktop. Sticking out tongue emoji. Marco, I know. I was talking about during the install during the install process. There is no option for you to do that. So, yeah, I know how to... Thanks, though, for thinking that much of me. Go ahead, Jason.
we don't think that much of you. Ninja Panda.
Marco, you know I love you, by the way. Go ahead.
Ninja Pandas, dub on to PSO2 for actually installing and playing perfectly. Must have taken all of Kiri's luck and A-Bond to PSO2 for not having a perfect windowed mode. I'm going to give a bonus dub on to Ninja Pandas for being our third wheel in the Agent Biohunters and our perfect team.
That is true. Yeah, see, if you come hang out with us on our streams Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MMOBomb at 2 p.m. Eastern, you too could win the opportunity to play great games with Jason
Agent Biohunters, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Q. Get a 3-pack and play Apex or something. I don't know.
Go ahead, Q.
Corey Vachon?
Yep.
Who would have thought that releasing an 8-year-old game to North America was an awesome idea? Oh, wait, it was a stupid idea. Still laughing that people say PSO2 is a big release.
Oh. That's going to get Mike's ire up.
No, I don't really care. But I think saying that it's not a big release is kind
Is there anything here that isn't... all the
silly.
bombs are PSO2 related. Like, that's the entire...
Yeah, like last week, there are 2 weeks, because we didn't have a show last week, so, yeah. Froglord of Destiny downloaded the game, took half a day to do so. The next day, the App Store wouldn't launch the game, restarted computer, suddenly Microsoft Store has to re-download the game from scratch automatically. Yep, Froglord, that is a common issue. Go ahead, Jason.
Soul Echelon. Oddly enough, I've had absolutely no problems playing PSO2 other than stuttering in the game's main lobby due to the huge amount of players loading in and out. Simply went to the Microsoft Store, searched for PSO2, installed the game with the launch and run an update, hopped in right when the servers were up and everything went fine. I feel sorry for those that are having problems, however. that was my first day. My first day was fine. Mike was having issues, and then my second day and beyond was. Bleh.
Yep. Go ahead, Q.
Fast Dragon Star. I have the same problem with PSO2 as Mike, and it's killing me. I started clearing out my solid-state drive, but only managed to get 63 gigs free before I hit a wall, so it sucks that I can't play, but at least I managed to clear out about 50 gigabytes worth of junk data.
I did the same thing. I'm up to like 48 now free on my SSD, by the way. Fast Dragon Star for the exact same reasons. Because this game would 100% work, I have no doubt, would work on my computer with no problem if I just went to the Microsoft Store, downloaded it directly to my C drive, my SSD where Windows is, and updated it. Because everything seems to work fine if I start the process doing it that way. But I don't want it on my SSD, and I don't have enough room on my SSD to put it there anyway, and that's what's causing me the problems, which Tweaker fixed. But now I think the Microsoft Store is conflicting with Tweaker a little bit, or GameGuard is conflicting with Tweaker a little bit, and I'm not able to keep them both on my PC now. Shades, I tried...
One.
What's that?
I bet it's that one. GameGuard.
GameGuard.
With everything.
Yeah. Yeah, when I launch the game, when it works on PSO2 Tweaker, when I launch the game, I do get the Phantasy Star box in the middle, and GameGuard updates anywhere from 9 to 12 files, or does its check, and then nothing happens. And then if I try and start PSO2 again, maybe it'll come up, or maybe the icon disappears and it self-deletes. I'm not sure. I do have it exceptioned on my antivirus, but I wonder, a GameGuard might be butting heads there. Shades, I tried downloading this 2 or 3 times, but it just takes too long. Left it overnight since 4 a.m. on release day, only got halfway through. I have decent enough internet to download this game in less than 3 hours for sure, since that's how long the Japanese version took. Yeah, none of it's fun. None of this is fun. Go ahead, Jason.
It's me, Jimmy says I like the new opening music on the cast. A few things that really annoy me about. Okay. A few things that really annoy me about PSO2. The fact that you can't minimize the client, and you can't change the settings in game on top of stuff like finding things in game. At least you can play it. That's better than some of us can do.
Go ahead, Q.
Carito PT. A-bomb. There is actually a there.
Little bomb icon, yeah.
Massive one to the PC release of PSO2. Still trying to get into it today. I'm assuming this was still a couple of days ago or something, but...
Question of the week last week. Seeing the woes of a recent sandbox MMOs like Arcade and the shutdown of others, what does a sandbox MMO have to do to capture you, or what at least vocally seems to be a pretty hungry sandbox crowd? So basically, how do you do it right? We got 2 chiming in for answers. I have trimmed these answers because they were substantially longer, but I think this sums up what these viewers were saying. Gesley says, "Sup. I think it's a very broad question, but I do have a few points in my head. 1, always listen to player feedback or the community. 2, be transparent as much as you can about the in-game shop. 3, you have to have a clear goal for endgame. 4, game and content updates and expansions must be planned. And 5, useful events, not some crappy wastes of time." And I have a hard time disagreeing with any of those things being important to a sandbox game.
Or any MMO.
Right. Jason, go ahead, finish it off.
Nasaga, question of the week, how to do a sandbox MMO right? Short answer, hook up old school RuneScape with Stardew Valley and have them make a love child. Ooh, yeah. Long answer, a perfect modern
answer trimmed down, by the way.
Yeah,
I trimmed it down to make it a shorter, longer answer.
A medium answer.
Yes, it's a medium answer.
A perfect modern sandbox MMO at its core is a hybrid between an old school RPG and a life sim, where setting your own goals, the journey through the game, and the people you meet along the way are points of the game. I'd really like to have like a Stardew kind of MMO where your character... Right? The problem is... I'm going to go off on a tangent here. The problem is if you can make character decisions, if you make them wrong and not optimal in a multiplayer game, you're going to get screwed because everyone else is going to pick the most optimal thing, even if they hate it for their character because they want to get the better gear and stats, whatever. But
that's
anyway.
Funny you say that. Next week, I want to talk to you about Pantheon's perception system.
Do they have something like that? Okay.
Yeah, Schlocky, MMO Bomber, made sure I saw the video because I totally missed it. It's about 30 minutes or so. I'll link it to you so you can watch it, and then we'll talk about it. Because, yeah, I mean, Pantheon's not free to play, but
sure.
that system, I think, is worth talking about on a cast at some point.
All right. Continuing here, it says it needs to support many different ways of playing. If that appeals to different kinds of players, where no one path is clearly the right way to play, and give those different kinds of players reasons to work together to achieve their goals. There should be something in the game that appeals to almost every kind of gamer, from the grandma who only plays Animal Crossing to the hardcore PvPer.
Q, you're in Animal Crossing right now, aren't you? You messing with that stuff?
So does that make me a grandma?
I wasn't going to ask if you were a grandma. I know you're not.
Not unless Fosse has kids. I do.
For those of you that have no idea, Fosse is her cat.
I have no actual human children and intend to have none, just so we all know. I do play Animal Crossing. I mean, I play most every kind of game, though. So, I mean, but Animal Crossing, like, I even played Viva Pinata back in the day because it was just chill.
That's why I want to play Bug Snacks.
Right? Like sometimes you just need a chill game, and this has definitely been a time for people who need chill games. Absolutely. Which is why when Animal Crossing came out, the timing on it was just so insane for a lot of people, and that's all my Twitter feed was for a while.
For a long time.
Until it switched over to, the current marches and everything.
I moved the scene to the wrong place. What the hell's going on?
We're so close to the end. Don't screw up.
I know, right? Question of the week this week. What is your take on the Destiny 2 reveal, the 3-year roadmap? There's quite a bit of information. Check it out on mmobomb.com. Does all the additional content and their promise of reworking seasons and minimizing the fear of missing out and everything, does that pull you back into the game if you've left it? If you're in the game, does it make you more hyped for the game's future? Why or why not? Let us know in the comments below. While you're there, make sure you give us your weekly bombs, D bomb for something good, A bomb for something bad in the world of gaming, and we will see you next week when we can reveal those on the show. Until then, Q, where can everybody find you?
Hang it on Twitter at Quentin.
Jason?
On Twitter at Winter Informal, streaming at twitch.tv/JasonWinter.
I'm Mike Byrne, aka Magic Man. You can follow me personally right there on Twitter at MagicMan1. But more importantly, while you're there, follow at MMOBomb so we can tweet at you with all the latest news, interviews, first looks, free-to-play cast, free-to-play weekly, and so much more. Make sure to stop by and see us stream. Stay safe. See you on the servers.